Hello friends, I am Navi, founder of www.navi.org. I am also the chairperson of Foundation of Data Protection Professionals in India, CDPP-I, and other associated activities. In the year 1998, the first draft of what later on became Information Technology Act was published by the then Ministry of Information Technology. It was at that time called Information Technology Bill. My entry to the field of cyber law started from that time. Subsequently, the bill became an act, and then in the year 2000, the act was notified. That was in October, with effect from 17th October 2000. At the same time, I also started an entity called Cyber Law College. In fact, Cyber Law College started a few months earlier in July when the act was passed by the parliament and assented to by the president. Since then, this entity called Cyber Law College, which is a division of my company called Ujjola Consultants Private Limited, has been in existence. Today, Ujjola Consultants Private Limited is a patron member of CDPP-I, and Cyber Law College works more like an in-house training partner of CDPP-I. So this course is being run as part of the Cyber Law College initiative in association with the CDPP-I. In the year 2023, Data Protection Act of India, which is called Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or DPDPA 2023, was passed. And this particular course is supposed to create the skill sets, knowledge about this DPDPA amongst the professionals. It is called CDPP-I, representing Certified Data Protection Professional for India. Until very recently, whenever we spoke of Data Protection Act, we remembered GDPR, which was the act of European Union. We also have several data-related legislations in US. Prominent amongst them is HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is applicable to the healthcare sector. USA doesn't have a nationwide, what we call as federal law for data protection, but individual states like California and others have passed their own data protection laws similar to GDPR. So US works under that kind of a regime. But this CDPP-I focuses on the Indian requirement. Now, when we discuss CDPP-I, we must remember that this law called DPDPA 2023 is framed as a continuation of the existing law called Information Technology Act 2000, which in the year 2008 was substantially amended with the introduction of several sections, one of which was section 43 capital A, which spoke about the responsibilities of a body corporate which is handling sensitive personal data, failing which there would be certain legal consequences. So this 43 capital A, which was introduced in an amendment in 2008, which became effective from 27th of October 2009, was the data protection or personal data protection element in ITA 2000. Otherwise, ITA 2000 looked at data protection as without distinguishing personal data and non-personal data, because the focus in the initial days was how to promote e-commerce and how to curb the cyber crimes, and associated with that, how digital contracts can be constructed. This was the original objective of ITA 2000. In the 2008 amendment, Section 43 capital A along with another section called 72 capital A and a few other sections were introduced, some of which were basically for introducing the concept of data protection. So since then, data protection in India is being covered by ITA 2000 itself, and it is considered as the Data Protection Law of India. In the year 2011, a notification was made about what we call as SDPI rules, or sensitive personal data, SPDI rules, sensitive personal data related rules. And since then, the corporates are working on compliance to this section 43 capital A and the related rules as part of their data protection obligations. If you look at DPDP-I 2023 as of now, it is actually a substitute for the section 43 capital A, and therefore it is right to consider that DPDP-I 2023 is a continuation of Information Technology Act. Additionally, this law DPDP-I 2023 is framed as a law aimed towards disciplining the industry. It identifies what precautions the industry is expected to take to protect the personal data. But when it comes to providing compensation for any contravention of the Act, DPDP-I only restricts itself to putting penalties on the data handling organizations. It does not provide civil compensation to any data subject who is called data principal under this law. Therefore, if there is a data breach, personal data breach in particular, and a person suffers a loss, he has recourse only under Information Technology Act claim compensation, not under DPDP-I. This is one reason why Information Technology Act is considered as a relevant legislation which will continue to cover certain aspects of personal data protection in addition to non-personal data protection, which anyway the Act covers even now. That is why in this particular course, we cover Information Technology Act in good depth along with DPDP-I. So this whole course is somewhat special compared to any other course of this nature because of the emphasis we give on Information Technology Act. Understanding of the Information Technology Act would be helpful in understanding DPDP-I. In fact, in DPDP-I, the organizations which process personal data are called data fiduciaries. In Information Technology Act, we have a class of entities which are called intermediaries who actually process data third-party data as part of their activities. Many of these intermediaries are actually data fiduciaries themselves. Therefore, there is an overlap of legislatory provisions, regulations between ITA 2000 and DPDPA. This is yet another reason why we consider ITA 2000 and DPDPA as sister laws and should be studied together. We have an elaborate curriculum for this particular course, which is already available perhaps with you. And we will try to cover all these aspects in terms of different videos. We have taken a policy decision to provide this recorded video based classes for the reason that this can be offered to people on demand. I don't have to wait for a batch to come up for conducting a program. Now, if the students feel that this recorded video program does not allow for proper interaction with the faculty, what we try to do is to provide mentor sessions on request so that any doubts which people get while going through the recorded videos can be clarified during the personal interaction with me. But such interaction has to be, of course, fixed on an appointment basis and subject to mutually convenient time. But it does provide the opportunity for us to interact. As far as reading material is concerned, we will give copies of the PPTs used during this presentation. There are certain books which we will be recommending. It so happens that in the recent days, the Information Technology Act has been amended substantially. First, after this 2008, with the Jan Vishwas Bill first, and then subsequently the intermediary guidelines of 2021, there has been lots of changes in the law. Hence, whatever book was presently available is undergoing some updation, and it will take a little time for me to make it available. We have actually taken out the current versions of the book which was available on navi.org specifically for this reason. However, I must say that Information Technology Act is a 20 plus years old law, and you will find lots of good material on the internet. However, some of the jurisprudential thoughts which we will discuss are different from what you may find on the internet. Therefore, it is better for you to verify both what we say during these courses and then use whatever online resources are available. It will help you. So, what I have done now is that we have released this course with certain videos which are providing a overview of both Information Technology Act as well as DPDPA. Kindly go through that. While you work on that, I will try to upload new videos which are structured as per the coverage. At the end of this program, you are entitled to take a participation certificate. But if you want to have a fully certified certificate, there will be an examination at the end of this program. There will be one examination attempt provided free with the course. Subsequently, if there is a need for repeat examination, some additional fees may be required. So this is generally the structure of this course, and I hope all of you would enjoy the additional information which you get when you attend this course. At the next stage, if you want to continue study of DPDPA, we have the course called CEDPO, which is Certified Elite Data Protection Officer. A DPO is expected to implement DPDPA in his organization, so he needs to have a knowledge of the law. This particular course, of course, focuses mostly on law. It doesn't go into the DPO responsibilities, because along with this, if somebody wants to take a course on GDPR, that is considered like a technology vertical, DGPSI plus GDPR. So many of the advocates may be interested, and therefore we have provided that option of DPDPA as a law, and later on, if necessary, a separate course on GDPR. DPO is more a governance and technical issue. Some of you may like to go into the DPO, some of you may not be. So those of you who wants to go for CEDPO course, that you can take after you complete this course. There we will be discussing more about the implementation aspects. There is also a third level of education which we are providing, which is the audit. DPDPA implementation in an organization needs to be verified, and to some extent assurance certificates to be given by an external auditor. We call him as an independent data auditor. So we have a program called CIDA, Certified Independent Data Auditor. Normally this data auditor role is a very senior as well as experience-based role. So DPOs may take up data audit, and therefore that is considered more like a continuation of the DPO course. This GDPR course, there is a separate course. If people are interested, you can take that. In fact, we are trying to actually provide a career path for youngsters who want to get into data protection area, initially with basic knowledge, then with as a DPO, and maybe as a data auditor. So progressively, these courses will help them in developing into a data protection professional. DPO is a corporate employment opportunity, whereas data auditor is an independent activity, more like a chartered accountant and other kind of individuals. So the two are slightly different, but the base knowledge of DPDPA is required for both. So that is generally the overview of what you are going to see. I wish you all the best. You will be having my email contact. So please contact me for any further details. In case there is any delay in my reply, please pardon me because of other engagements. But I will try my best to ensure that your queries are answered as quickly as possible. Thank you, and see you again sometime later.